Hello everyone and welcome back to Crochet by Katie Humes. Today we are going to be making Venusaur. I am super excited about this crochet tutorial. He barely fits in his ball, so he has to get a little bit smushed, but he's pretty cool. So he is about 3 inches tall and 3 inches long. I realized that was upside down. I apologize. Anyway, the materials you're going to need for this project are a 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. And I guess if you wanted him to be a little bit smaller, you could use a smaller hook. I think he fits fine. I mean, I squished him in there, but he does fine. So 3.25 millimeter crochet hook is what I used. A stitch marker, scissors, yarn needle, embroidery needle, so you can see the difference in the size here, the eye of the needle, pins, sewing pins for pinning the legs and the flower in place when it's time to sew it on, black embroidery thread, white embroidery thread, stuffing, I just use polyfill from Walmart, felt, you'll need white, red, and pink, and I got these little squares off Amazon and I like them. They're more stiff than the other felt I've used. You will need fabric tack or fabric glue, and the colors of the yarn you will need are jade for his body, spring green for the leaves, cream for his toes. You can also use white or off-white. I just like cream for his toes. And for the flower, you will need brown for the stem. This is like a chocolate brown. I apologize, I do not have the exact color on that. Bright yellow for the inside of the flower, and pink for the petals. All right, without further ado, let's get started. To begin, we start with the jade yarn, and we are going to start with the head. We'll make a magic ring of 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull it tight and begin round 2. Round 2 is our increase round. We will just be putting 2 stitches into every stitch around. So at the end of round 2, you will have 12 stitches. And make sure and crochet around this tail so you don't have to weave it in later. 1, 2. All right, I will continue that all the way around. 2 stitches into 1 crochet and weaving around this tail. I have just completed round 2, and I'm going to now clip this yarn tail so that it's out of the way. And to begin round 3, we will be doing 1 single crochet, 1 increase. So 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and that is the pattern all the way around. and you will have 18 stitches around. So 1 and your increase, 1, 2. Continue that all the way around for round 3, and at the end of round 3 you will have 18 stitches in total. I have just completed round 3 and I have 18 stitches in total. Round 4 is going to be 18 single crochets around. So if you don't want to count, you can insert your stitch marker into that very last stitch and single crochet all the way around. Or you can just count 18 single crochets. So 1, 2, and you will continue that all the way around. I have just completed round 4 and I have 18 single crochets around. Now we're going on to round 5, and round 5 is another increase round, and we're going to be doing 1 single crochet in one stitch and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase. So you have 2 stitches with single crochets and then your increase with 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So round 5. And at the end of round 5 you'll have 24 stitches around. 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then you'll have your increase round. Your increase stitch and 2. So then you will have complete, I'm stuttering. You will continue with that pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase. I will see you at the end of round 5. I have just completed round 5 and I have 24 stitches around. Now we will go on to round 6, and it is our last increase round for the head. We will be doing 3 single crochets into 3 stitches and then 1 increase. So you will count, and at the end you will have 30 stitches around. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase. 1, 2, 3, and then your increase. Continue that pattern all the way around for round 6, and you will have 30 stitches at the end of round 6. I will meet you at the end of round 6. I have just completed round 6, and we now have 30 single crochets around. Round 7 is a little tricky because we're going to start forming his mouth. So first of all, we're going to do 9 single crochets. And if you want, since this round is a little more tricky, go ahead and put a stitch marker in so that we know that we end up on the right last stitch. So we're going to put in 9 single crochets. 1. So I will meet you when we have 9 single crochets in. I just finished my 9 single crochets, and now we are going to do 5 single crochets in the back loop only. So 1, the back loop only is, you have 2 loops when you're normally crocheting. This is your front loop, and this is your back loop. It is farther away from you as you're crocheting. So we're only going to go into the back loops. 1, 2, and do that for 5, and I will meet you when we get done with that. We just completed the 5 in the back loop only, and you'll see it creates a little ridge, and that's the beginning of our mouth. Next, you're going to do 16 single crochets in the regular both loops. So 1, 2, and continue that, And you should end up where your stitch marker is with those 16 stitches, and we should still have 30 stitches around. So I've just completed round 7, and I took the stitch marker out, and we're going to put it into the top again, that last stitch that we do for round 8. And round 8 is again a little bit tricky. We're going to do 5 slip stitches in the 5 slip stitches. So a slip stitch is you just insert your hook, pull up a loop, and pull it through the loop. So do 5 of these, 1, 2, and make them a little bit loose because we're going to have to work back into them. 3, and it's a little tricky 4 if they're not loose, and 5. Okay, so we have our 5 slip stitches. Next we're going to do back loop only again, 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to do a 3 single crochet decrease, staying in the back loop only. 1, well, we're going to do 3 decreases, but they're going to be single crochets. 1 decrease, so there's the first decrease, and I'll explain how to do it. So you insert your hook in the back loop only, pull up a loop, and then insert your hook in the next stitch over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 3 loops, the 3 loops that were on your hook. And now we'll do that one more time. This is our third one. Okay, so we just did 3 decrease, back loop only. Now we're going to do back loop only again, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And what this does, I will show you, is it creates this flexibility in the yarn so that it will create the mouth to look open when it's time to glue in all of our felt and everything. So the next step is 12 slip stitches. 1, and make sure and make them a little bit looser. 2, and I will see you at the end of the 12 slip stitches. I have just completed round 8, and you should have 27 stitches around for round 8. Go ahead and move your stitch marker back to the very end of your, so I moved my stitch marker up. Round 9 is a little tricky. We are going to be forming the bottom part of the jaw. So we're going to start off by doing 1 decrease. And I'm going to just do it in the front loops only. Because it's pretty tight. Okay, after that decrease, you will need to do 4 single crochet into every stitch. One single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the next part is the part that we're going to be forming the bottom part of the jaw. So we're going to be crocheting in front loops only. The first one is 1/2 double crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. That's a 1/2 double crochet. Your next stitch is front loop only, and you're going to be doing 1 double crochet. Yarn over, front loop only, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Your next stitch is going to be 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Yarn over and make your double crochet. Yarn over and make your second double crochet into that same stitch. Now we are at the very center of the jaw and we're going to be creating a point. So in this next stitch we're going to do 3 stitches. 1 double, 1 treble, and 1 double. So go ahead and put your double, front loop only, and let me show you how to do a treble. So a treble crochet, you're going to yarn over twice, insert your hook back in that same stitch, front loop only, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Now we're going to do another double, 1 double in that next same stitch. 1 double crochet in this same stitch. Okay, and now we kind of want to do in reverse what we just did to create this point for his jaw. So the next couple of stitches will still continue to be in the front loop only. We're going to be doing 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then we will be doing 1 double crochet, front loop only, continue with the front loop only, and then the last one for his mouth is a half double crochet, front loop only. Okay, now we are going back to both loops, and I'm actually going to do the decrease in the front loops only again because it's really tight. So we're going to do our decrease next. And then we're going to do 4 single crochet and then 2 decreases. So 1, ooh, I split my yarn. Oh, come on. It's very tight, so just be patient with it. 2, 3, and 4. And now 2 decreases. Oh, come on. You know what? It's 3 decreases. Sorry about that. 3 decreases. And then a single crochet at the end where your stitch marker was. Okay. So there we have our little jaw. So somehow I got turned around and I miscounted, but instead of doing 3 decreases, do 4 decreases. That is going into your next row, so it's a little strange, but it gives us 25. We need 25 stitches at the end of this round. So at the end of round 9, you should have 25 stitches around. Now round 10, we're going to be doing 3 decreases and then back loop only. So we're going to do 3 decreases. 1, 2, and 3. And then back loop only now. We're going to do 2 single crochet. 1, 2, and then we're going to do a decrease, and we're going to do this 3 times. Oops. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and a decrease. And do that one more time. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and we're working in the back loops only, and a decrease. All right. Now, we want to do 3 more decreases, and at the end of this round, you will have 15 stitches around. So 1 decrease, oh man, what just happened? Two, and 3. And now you should have 15 stitches around, and that completes round 10. At the end of round 10, we want to stuff the head and the mouth and kind of get it prepared. We're going to do some yarn sculpting. So don't worry too much about the shape just yet. It's a little funky before you do the yarn sculpting. But we have started it, so we're able to manipulate it and sculpt it how we want it. So just stuff the head a little bit. Give yourself some stuffing to be able to sculpt it and mold it how you want it. And we're going to add just a little in this little mouth area. We're going to be adding felt over it so it will look really cool. There you go. So stuff that. And we're moving on to round 11. For round 11, we will be doing 2 single crochets and then a decrease. And we will do that 5 times. So 1 single crochet. Whoa, come here. 1 single crochet. Another single crochet. And a decrease. Continue this pattern around 5 times. And at the end of this round, you will have, I'm not quite sure, I believe 5 stitches. Okay, so you'll have 10 stitches around. I am not quite sure why I said 5. I should know that 15 is not going to decrease to that small of a number. You will have 10 stitches. Now, we are going to stuff it just a little bit more, and it's okay if it's a little bit loose because like I said, we're going to be doing the yarn sculpting. But now we need to put in a slip stitch. Oops, push that down in there. So we're going to slip stitch. We're going to clip our yarn. And we are going to leave kind of a bit of a tail, and we're going to sew up the head. I like to go in front loops only, so in between the front and back loop. Just take your needle and go around, and this will sew it up nicely. I will show you. Just take it in every stitch around. Okay, and pull, and you get that nice circle ending. And then go ahead and weave back and forth and pull it tight. And you're going to want to leave this yarn tail. Don't cut it, okay? We're going to need it. And see, it's a good shape for his head. All right. So actually right now is when we need to do the yarn sculpting. So we want to take our needle and take it back and forth like so, and it's going to pull that mouth in, just like that. Then go back through the same hole, but come out on the other corner of the mouth and pull it through. And pull that tight. And then you see you'll start getting these like dimples. Now we need to come through that very center and pull it in. So we're going to come through the center, and we're going to go back through the center and pull that in so that we get that nice jaw looking. I'm going to put a couple more in so that it's really nice open. Okay, so you work on that, and I will meet you back in a little bit. The next thing we're going to do is his ears. So you want to find in between row 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to be doing it on this row, row 3. Insert your hook and pull up your jade yarn. And we're going to do 5 single crochets into that stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now you're going to do a slip stitch. Trim your yarn, and we are going to use our yarn needle to sew that up. Okay, I'm just going to take it and go right directly through there. Kind of curl it around. Okay. I just want to pull it. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Okay, so what I did is I pulled it down right there, and I am not liking how that looks, so I'm going to go up and see if I can fix that. It's like pulling up in a strange way. So I'm just going to try and fix these little details while I'm right here with the yarn. Okay, there. I think that looks much better. So it's still a little bit strange, but I am gonna call it good. We're gonna take this other piece from the ear and go down and find, it's this one. Here we want to tie it off. So all I do is I tie these two together in a double knot. One, two. And then we're going to go through that same stitch that we came out and pull the knot into the creature, cut it, tuck it in, and pop that back out. There we go. Next, we will add the little triangles. So you just take a small piece of red felt and cut a little teeny triangle and make sure it kind of matches that one. Yep. You're going to take some fabric glue, put a little dot on there, okay, take your tiny triangle and set it on there. The triangles are what really make it stand out and look like ears. Well, there we go. The ears are now complete. For the eyes, you're going to want to cut out 2 white half circles and 2 red smaller half circles. So I'm just going to show you how I glue them on. You can use pins to double check where you want your eyes, the placement that you want them. Like, ow, that just stabbed me. Because once you put the glue on, it's pretty permanent. So I actually don't like that placing at all. Alright, I'm going to put them right there. I'm going to go with that. And so I've got an idea in my head where I want it to go. I'm going to put the glue on there. You know what, it needs to go a little higher because of our nose details. Okay, so you can move it really quickly when you first put it on there, but once it's on, it's pretty much on. So wherever you put it, it's gonna stick. Okay, now let's put the red part on. Okay. Whoops. I put it on sideways. I put it on wrong. Let's see if I can get it off of there. There we go. I'm trying to work quickly because the glue dries really quick. There we go. There's his eyes, and just hold them on for a couple of seconds, count to 10, and you're good. Once the glue dries, you're going to want to add some eyelids. So all I do for that is I just have a really short piece of yarn and grab him and go in from behind and come up right where you put the eye and go around just like that, and I put 2 of them. So you'll go back in through that same hole, and right in that same area put another eyelid. Kind of looks like an eyebrow. You know what, I'm going to do 3. It really needs another piece right here. And just do that to both of the eyes until you have it exactly how you want it to look. And that's how you do the eyes. And make the eyelid kind of stand out. Okay, so next we're going to be doing the mouth. And the mouth, you just need a small pink piece of felt and red. And you want to cut the shape to fit nice and snug in his little mouth. And you want to leave room for his 4 bottom teeth and his nostrils and everything. And you also want to make sure that the pink and red fit together. Before we glue them together, make sure that it creates a nice thin red line, because in all the pictures I looked at, he's got this red mouth and this pink tongue, so we want it to have a little space. So we're going to glue the red on first, and I just put the glue pretty much right in the center of his mouth, and I'm going to put a little more than I would use for like the eyes or any other smaller spot. There's like a piece of stuffing stuck to there. I'm going to pull that off first. Okay, now we're going to put our red on. And try and get it nice and centered. And I just pull away any excess while it's still a little bit wet. It's a little easier to do when it's wet. Let's squish that up a little. Okay, next I am going to put the fabric glue onto this pink piece. flip it and tuck it in. Before you press it down, try and tuck it in, and then just hold that down. And now you've got his tongue in place and his mouth in place. And then once that dries, we'll go ahead and do the details, the teeth and the nostrils. Okay, so taking our embroidery thread, our black embroidery thread, and our embroidery needle, this one's smaller than the yarn needle. I'm going to go ahead and put the nostrils in, and I put the nostrils in about right here. Oops. Go down a little bit. I'm going to come out over here. I'm going to come out in the same hole, and then I'm going to tie these two in a double knot and tuck them back in. Okay, so now we've got our nostrils on. I'm going to come in and do the teeth with the white embroidery thread, and I'm going to start with the top two teeth, and I just come in from the side, and I go down and come back up right near where I have that first little starting point, and I'm going to do it twice. And on the second one down, I'm going to come over to where I want to put my second top tooth. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Go down and up. And try and come up as closely as possible to that first entry. And then I'm going to take this, and it's actually not enough. I was going to do the bottom row, but I do not have enough on my needle. So I'm going to tie the top two together. Ah, I pulled it too tight. Don't worry, we can pull that out a little. And there we go, it matches now. Okay, then we need to clip this. And I'll put this in, I'm going to tuck this one in and tie these two together and tuck them and hide them. Now for his bottom teeth, we're going to be doing a French knot, and we're actually going to be doing a French knot twice in this pattern, and I wanted to show you close up. I decided to do French knots for his bumps on his body. I thought that it would look pretty cool, and I really like how it turned out. And so I'm going to teach you how to do a French knot, and I just wanted to say really quickly that it's not the only spot that we're going to be using a French knot on this pattern. You can, if you don't want to do the French knot for the teeth, do the same technique we did for the top. So he has two bottom teeth about right here and two bottom teeth on the other side. So go ahead and come in from this side again. Eeks, come on. And we are going to pull this one so that we have enough. Okay, that's good. So that we have enough to do all four. What you're going to do is go around your needle 3 or 4 times. I'm going to pull that tight because it's... And then go back down, not in the same hole, but very close. I found that with yarn, because if you're embroidering, you go right down in that same hole. But with the yarn, it was just pulling through and it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. Oops. So there's our first one. And now we're going to come back up through this hole and put it really close to the second one. Come out of here. And again, go around 3 or 4 times on your needle and go down very close to that spot. And there you go. There you have your second one. And then continue that 4 times along the bottom. So off camera, I really didn't like how my first 2 looked, so I ended up taking them off. And I ended up going in from the bottom, and it works a lot better. So I'm going to show you. Hopefully this will work good. So I went up through the bottom, and for some reason that just really worked well. Still, get it on your needle a couple of times. And go back down. And that looks much better. Much better. And there's all his teeth. All right. Now I'm just going to leave that one there, and I'm going to take this one. Did I get them all? There we go. And put it over here. And I'm going to tie these 2 together and then sew them back into the head so we can't see our yarn tails. That is stuck. Maybe I won't do that. I don't want to cause any disruption. Okay. There we go. I didn't mess it up too bad, did it? Okay, now we have our head finished, so we are going to move on to our body portion. We're going to begin with the jade yarn again, and we are going to begin with the famous magic ring. So go ahead and make your magic ring or magic circle, whatever you prefer to call it. And we are starting with a magic ring of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, round 2, be sure and weave in this tail, and we will be doing an increase in every stitch. So increase just means 2 stitches into 1 stitch. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. Continue that all the way around, and by the end of round 2 you will have 12 stitches around. I have just completed round 2, and I now have 12 stitches around, and I'm going to go ahead and clip this tail that we crocheted over so we don't have to sew it in later. And round 3 is going to be another increase round. You're going to be doing 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and do that 6 times, and at the end of the round you will have 18 stitches. So 1 single crochet, and 1 increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Alright, repeat that all the way around until you get to 18 stitches. I have just completed round 3 and I now have 18 stitches around. We're now doing round 4 and we will do 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches and then 1 increase. And at the end of round 4 you will have 24 stitches around. So the pattern is 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase. And continue that all the way around until you have 24 stitches, and I will see you at the end of round 4. I have just completed round 4 and I now have 24 stitches around. Now for the next 8 rows, so round 5 through 12, you will be doing 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So it's 24 stitches, and this is where your stitch marker can come in handy. So just go ahead and put your stitch marker at the end of your row, unless you want to count all of those stitches, which would be totally fine too. Then you are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and just continue that all the way around. And you're going to do this for 8 rows. And I will see you at the end of round 12. I have just come to the end of round 12, and if you are wondering, or if you get lost while counting, even though you're moving your stitch marker, all you have to do is come to the bottom of your work and find your beginning circle, 1, 2, 3, oops, I'm sorry, and count the rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you will have a row up there for 12. So now we're going to go ahead and start stuffing the body. That's probably too much. Oh, actually, it's just right. Alright, so once you get the body good and stuffed, we're going to start with our decrease rounds now. So the first decrease round is going to be 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, and we're going to repeat that pattern 6 times, and at the end we will have decreased down to 18 stitches. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 1 decrease. Alright, go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around until you have 18 stitches, and I will see you back here. I've just finished round 13, and round 14 is going to be 1 single crochet, 1 decrease all the way around. So 1 single crochet, my stuffing is getting a little out of hand here, and 1 decrease. Continue that pattern all the way around, and at the end of round 14 you should have 12 stitches around. I lost my body. For round 15 we're going to put 1 decrease in every 2 stitches around. So 1, and continue that 6 more times. Once you get to the point where you can sew up your body, it's fuzzy. Go ahead and do the little circle technique. tight. And there's your body. The next thing we're going to be crocheting are the legs. So you're going to start with a magic ring of 6 again, and then round 2 is going to be 6 single crochets in the back loop only, and I am going to hide this yarn tail as I go. So back loop only. One, two, three, four, maybe four, five, and 6. Okay, go ahead and clip that so it is out of your way. Next, we're going to be doing 6 single crochet, both loops, a regular single crochet. 1, 2, and continue that all the way around, and I will meet you back here. Our next and final round for the leg is going to be an increase round. We're going to increase in every single stitch around. So 1 and 2. Continue that all the way around, and you will have 12 stitches at the end of round 4. At the end of round 4, you're going to make a slip stitch, clip your yarn, leave a tail for sewing, and pull that through. And then I like to just shape it a little bit with the hook because it's kind of funny looking. Okay, next you're going to need to add 3 toes. So grab your cream yarn, and I just use a little, I don't even use the whole row, I just use a little snippet of the yarn. Whoops. Now to add our toes, we are going to come down and go right through the center. Let's get that out of our way. And bring the yarn up through, creating a toe. Come back down through that center and go back through another stitch, creating a second toe. Go down and make your third toe. And now you need to make 4 of these legs for the Venusaur. He needs 4 legs that are exactly the same. At this point, you want to assemble your Pokemon, his legs and head, get them in position to be sewn on. Okay, and some things to make sure, just make sure you're getting everything lined up and that he can stand without support once you get them all So I've got my pieces on, he stands up good, and I like to start with the head because it's the heaviest piece. And for me, with amigurumi, it's really important that my pieces stand up correctly or sit correctly without support. I really like that to make sure that they stand up. So what I do to kind of hide my stitches, I'm just going to go in and out right here and make sure he's all lined up square. And I'm just going to continue going around the head in this manner so that he is almost seamless. You can see how I did with this one. Just went around and I made sure I tucked him in. And so just continue going around with the head and make him look seamless. I'm on my last leg here and I wanted to show you how I do it to hide the yarn tails and everything. So I'm just going to put my needle in. Pull it through, and now that it's secure I can take out one of those pens. I have another one right down there. So this is in my way. So I'm going to go back down and I'm going to try and go in the very next stitch. And I'm going to continue that all the way around, going in that next stitch and hiding it as I go. Okay, now that's pretty secure. This is stabbing me. I'm going to take it out. Down into the stitch. Oops. No worries. And just continue going around each stitch. And you can be sure that you've got each stitch if you lift right here. Like I'm tugging pretty tight and it doesn't move, but see how I lift right there and it opens up like a hole? Then I know I haven't gotten that area yet. I can make sure and get it really tight. That way, when a child is playing with it, it doesn't come loose. And then I'm going to come up right here, tie these two together. And hide them. And clip them. And there we have it. Next we're going to start on the flower. Next we're going to begin on our flower. And we're going to start with the spring green and we're going to create a slip knot. And put that on our hook. We want to chain 9 to begin the leaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, next we're going to be going back into the second chain from the hook and doing a single crochet and then chain 1. And then we're going to continue that pattern all the way down. Single crochet and chain 1. I will meet you when we get to the end of this little chain. So I am coming to the very last chain on the foundation chain. I'm going to insert my hook and do another single crochet. Now, instead of chaining 1 like I have the entire pattern up, we are going to single crochet 2 more into this. So you will have a total of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch. So here's our second single crochet and our third single crochet. And what that does is it turns it. So now you're ready to work down the opposite side. Go ahead and weave in this tail as you go so that you can just clip it when you get to the end. And you can straighten this out a little, it's okay. I just like that bunchy look that it gives it to do that chain 1. Now go ahead and start with the pattern on this side. Single crochet, oops, that's kind of in the way, chain 1, and again, single crochet, and chain 1, and continue that till you get to the very tip of your leaf. I've just come to the end of my leaf and I just stretch it out a little, crease it a little. I want it to be wavy because I want it to look kind of like a palm leaf. Now when we're to the end, you're going to take your hook and you're going to slip stitch into that so that this stem area is going to be coming out in the very center of the leaf. That yarn, pull it tight, and then you have this one that you should have weaved in as you were going. Go ahead and clip it. And you are good. Now you need to make a total of 5 leaves for this Venusaur's back. Once you've made your 5 leaves, I like to tie them together. So there's our first one. Second one. Okay. Now we're going to pull these, put those there, and tie this one to this bottom one. Okay, and once you get them all tied together how you want them, then we're going to take one of these and sew it on. Once you get them tied together, you can go ahead and thread your yarn needle and you can place it on top of him. And then I'm just going to go down through his belly and begin sewing it on. Now for this leaf right here, I will sew it onto the top of his head. so that it stays in place right there. Because all the pictures I've seen, the leaf is like right on top of his head. So go ahead and sew this in place and sew all of these leaves using these yarn tails. Sew them all down so that they're not waving around crazy. Once you have the leaves sewn on to his back, you're going to begin by making the stem. And what you're going to do is make a magic ring with your brown of 6. So make your magic ring of 6. And then you're going to single crochet into the back loop only. And it's really hard to see this yarn, so I did not do it on camera. But it's exactly like his leg. So if you need to see that again, go back and see his leg. So round 1 is a magic ring of 6. Round 2 is a back loop only 6 single crochet. So 1 single crochet into every stitch around. And round 3 and 4, which is what I'm getting ready to do, is 1 single crochet in every stitch. So 1, 2, and just continue that around for all 6 stitches on both rounds. So you will have a total of 12 stitches because you're going to go twice around. So you can either count to 12 or you can count to 6 twice, or you can use a stitch marker. But you'll have round 1 magic ring, round 2 back loop only 6 single crochet, round 3 6 single crochet, round 4 6 single crochet. Okay, I am on stitch number 6 for the stem of the flower, and we're going to switch to yellow on this stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over like you normally would, pull through. But instead of yarning over with the brown, you're going to yarn over with the yellow. Yarn over and pull through. And there we have successfully switched. And you can go ahead and clip your brown yarn. And we are done with it. So next, we are going to be doing 2 rounds of the yellow. So we're going to be doing 6 single sorry, so tongue-tied. We're going to be doing 6 single crochets with the yellow. So we're just going to continue in this fashion, making this tube a little bit longer. So we're going to do 2 rounds of this. So again, it'll be a total of 12 stitches, but it's 2 rounds of 6 single crochet. So round 1 is going to be 6, and then round 5 is going to be 6, and round 6 is going to be 6. I just completed round 6 of the stem. You can see we had 2 yellow rows. So we're going to do a slip stitch into the next yellow stitch. I'm going to clip that yarn, pull it through, and now we are going to sew this stem onto Venusaur's back. Okay, so we're just going to grab our yarn needle. I'm going to grab one of the longer ones for this. It's a little bit easier to make it all the way through the back. And we're just going to go directly down into that tube, come out that center, and then we are going to go right in the center of his back and come out his belly. And that puts our stem right where we want it. And we're going to go back up and hopefully catching some different stitches. Go up and go up and down a couple of times. Don't worry about getting it super, super tight. I mean, it's important to have it on there snugly. But we have to do the leaves, the flower leaves, and those flower leaves go back down in this tube as well. So there's more reinforcement than just this yellow yarn. So go ahead and pull that. Ooh, it's around his head. And I'm actually going to leave the yellow, and we will tie it with some of the pink that we put down through there. And so we'll have other yarn to tie it to and hide it. So anyway, that's how you attach the stem. Next, we are going to make the flower petal. I need to pull up my pattern really fast. There we go. So for the flower petal, you're going to want to use the pink. So here's what we're doing. We're making the pink. We are going to start with a slip knot. And we are going to chain 7. Sorry, I counted in my head. I promised that was 7. I realized I wasn't speaking. And it's okay. Chain 7, and then you're going to turn and go into the second chain from the hook, and you're going to single crochet 6 down this foundation chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn. And when you turn, you're going to grab this tail and you're going to tuck it up here so that we can crochet over it and not have to sew it in. Okay? So you're going to go down into the next one and single crochet 6 across. The flower petals are actually my favorite part of Venusaur. I just love this pink color, and I just love how the flower petals turned out. And they were super simple, just 3 rounds of single crochets, and I was super excited that the flower petals turned out so simple and easy to do and cute. Okay, so I'm coming to the last stitch. I'm gonna single crochet, and now I'm gonna clip this tail. It's hidden well, it's nice and snug, I don't have to worry about it. And I am going to do a slip stitch. And then we're gonna clip, oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. Clip that, pull it, and you need to make 6 of these. But look how nice and cute that is. So simple. And it's the exact shape that we need to look just like the Venusaur. Once you get all 6 of your pink petals finished, we're going to sew it onto the stem. And I'm going to show you how you can do this. So I start with the lowest point of the yellow because we want it to be like we want the yellow to be sticking out of the pink, and we want the pink to be coming out of the brown, if that makes any sense. So go ahead and stick it through there and go back up through the pink petal. Pull that tight. And then we're going to go down through the pink again and go into that tube. And we're going to come out the top of the tube this time. Okay? So, a couple things. We want to make sure that the petals are going to stick straight out. We also are still trying to secure this a little tighter down. And we want to hide the yellow and brown to make it seamless. So we're going to go back down in one more time and go around here, and this is my last one for this petal. And I'm going to go back in, and this time I'm going to go up the tube and then back down the tube. So I'll show you. I'm going to go up the tube, come here, there we go, up the tube, and now I'm going to take it all the way down, because you can see it's getting kind of loose. So we're going to go all the way down that tube, all the way down Venusaur's belly, and grab that needle and pull it. And this is what's going to help us secure the stem down. Okay, so go ahead and sew all of your petals on in that manner around this little seam right here, so that you're hiding everything and so that you're making it tight. And I'll meet you back when it's time to tie up all these yarn, because all the yarn will be coming out of his belly right here. Okay, so I actually went around the stem with brown one more time just to secure it down, and I hid that yarn tail already. But I wanted to show you what, because I don't know why, the stem was just super loose. It wasn't that loose on this one over here. Oh, maybe it is. Anyway, I'm going to go around the stem with brown on all of these guys that I make. So when you get to this point, you will have all of these little colorful strings hanging out. All I do, and I try it, and when I'm weaving in, I try and make them come out of the same places. So all I do is I tie them together, and then I trim them to be about the same length. Then I put them on the yarn needle. And going back down in that same spot, come out on any spot, but just make sure that you pull that knot down in, and then trim it, and then I push those back in. And so go ahead and do that with all of your yarn that are hanging out, but you can see it's completely gone. You can't even tell that it was there. So that's how I hide them. We are almost finished, and the last things we have to add are his bumps. So I'm going to show you how to make, I'm on my very last bump right now. I'm going to show you how to make that. It's just a French knot. So you just take the needle and curl the yarn around it. I do about 4 times, and then go down into the yarn and come out somewhere else on his body. And I'm hoping that, there we go. Yep. And see how it makes that little curlicue? And now I'm not really sure what I'm going to do because my yarn is so short on both sides. I'll figure out how to tie that off. And then I'm going to come back and show you how to make these spots on the flower. You're going to want to cut 12 of these little felt, they're little dots, and they're not really the same shape. They're like circular, but they're not exactly the same. So you want to cut them like that. You want them to be different. You want to grab your fabric tack, and we're just going to glue these little circle dots, whatever you want to call them, spots, onto the flower. So we're going to take the fabric glue and put little spots on there, just like that. And just continue doing that all the way around. And I put one big one and one small one on each petal so that it kind of has variation when you look down at it. So, all right, and that is it. And he is all finished. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I hope you're enjoying this mini Pokemon series that I'm doing. I'm really excited to donate all of these little guys to the Phoenix Children's Hospital in December 2017, and I am having a blast learning about the 150 original Pokemon. Real quick, we will do a recap. Whoa, he fell over. We'll do a recap because we have done the original evolutions of this guy. So we have Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. If you would like to make any of these, I have all of the patterns up on my YouTube channel, Crochet by Katie Humes. Have a wonderful day. I will talk to you later.